has had an amazing week so far. It is Wednesday. What's today? Lord, I don't be knowing. um, it is currently 10:01 a.m. September the 24th. Anyways, I hope everybody has been having an amazing week so far. I hope everybody is making good choices. I found y'all in good energy. So I'm not gonna do a read this morning, or I'm not gonna do tarot cards this morning. I'm gonna do more so like, bro, I gotta go and wet this hair and get these curls defined because what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Y'all, I like my hair wild. This is how I know I used to be some type of wild jungle warrior woman in a past life because, bro, I like my hair to be wild. Anyways, collective. Anyways, notice how that I'm not going to do no edges. I'll probably do a part in this. It don't matter. It does not matter. Anywho. I composed something for y'all since I said we need to focus on the solar plexus chakra. Now, I do have another channel, and I've been trying to upload, like, my music creations, but I've been having a bit of a little trouble, little hiccups. So, no worries. Gonna get that taken care of. So these particular frequencies focus mainly on the solar plexus. Okay. Can y'all hear them? I'm gonna just do it like this. Do out here. Out here. Don't care. Anyways. So, if you are returning to the channel, thank you for coming back. I must have said something that you liked. I must have said something that piqued your interest. I'm greatly appreciative of everyone that comes back, everyone that tunes in, taps in, that hits that like and subscribe button. It does make a huge difference. It lets me know as I get subscribers that I'm on the right path, and that also my words do make a difference. Words make a difference. Pay attention to this title. That's going to be the title of this one. Words make a difference. Okay. If you are new to the channel, thank you for tuning in and tapping in. Your girl greatly appreciates you. Hit that like and subscribe button as you come into the live. I know it's still early. I know most of you guys are at work. But for the most part, I pray that if you are new, that you stick around. I pray that I bring some type of truth, clarity, and awareness to your life, somewhere in your life, to help you wherever you are on your journey. I pray that I find everybody in good health and in good energy. And I pray for protection and blessings over this particular read at this time. Okay, so let's start out by thanking the Most High God Source. Thank you very much, Most High God Source, for providing me with my channel, for providing me with the knowledge, the tools, the necessities that I need in order to help the collective, to give out messages, to talk to the divine. It is such an honor for you to choose me for this particular mission. And I just like to help people heal. So I just want people to know that. I just want to see people healed, okay? So thank you, Most High God, and I say Ashe to you. Ashe. Ashe to the divine. Ashe. Thank you, divine, for choosing your girl, for guarding me and guiding me. To all those alike, ancestors of my highest good, both light and dark, high vibrational light and dark. Thank you to my guides and guardians for protecting my energy and for guiding me through my difficult times and even through my good times, right? I'm appreciative of all those. I show gratitude and appreciation for everything that I have been through, the trials, the tribulations, the lessons, as well as the blessings. I'm very thankful for everyone in the collective. I want to say Ashe to y'all as well. Oh, sorry, Ashe. So, at this time, I would like to ask any and all energies that includes hovering and monitoring spirits and any spirits in strongholds, both known and unknown, that wish to interfere with my protection, with the truth, clarity, and delivery of this message, that you leave from the portal for which you came, and that those portals be healed and sealed indefinitely at this time. Also, Ashe, so mote it be. Also, I would like to call on the ancestors of my highest good, the divine, and all beings of all kinds of my highest good, as well as my highest self. Let's give Ashes to my highest self to come through and help me deliver the message to the collective, so that it is accepted by whom needs to accept it. I ask for protection over my energy as well as the collective's energy when it comes to this read. Yo, this hair is wild. I like some wild hair though. I like big hair. I like big hair. Okay. So, child, this crap just all over the place. I just gotta wet it. I just been wearing it like this because mainly I be exercising and stuff. I don't have on my weight vest, but I'm gonna go put that on here in a second. So anyways, today's topic of discussion is titles. I did say, speaking the name, titles, okay? Titles. It's a download that I got yesterday. Titles equals expectations. Expectations leads to letdowns and disappointments more often than not, okay? So, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I found that a lot of people fall short. When I look at my life, right? A lot of people fall short because of the title, the expectations that come with the titles, right? Even when we're talking about being a divine feminine, divine masculine, chosen one, things of that nature, just to give ourselves those titles, those names, there are expectations, which mean there are boundaries, there are rules, guidelines, regulations that govern those particular titles, which means that we have to abide by those rules and guidelines and expectations, which we should, right? But also it puts a limitation on who we can truly become, you know? And I'm not saying it's in a negative or a positive sense. We're talking from a neutral sense, right? We're talking about in the beginning, there was the word, and the word was with God. The word was in God's mouth in the beginning, right? Before God ever spoke a word, there was no form. It just was. Everything just was. Energy flowed freely. Energy didn't even have a name. It just was. It's kind of like an unspoken rule. What's understood doesn't need to be spoken, okay? And so in the beginning, there was the word, and the word was with God, right? And before anything took shape or form, the days, the earth, the waters, the heavens, the anything, they had to be given a name to take form in the physical realm. But in order to speak the word of those, once that word of those particular things, once those things were named, aka titles, that made those things not only manifest into the physical, but be bound by the rules, regulations, and limitations, boundaries that pertain to that particular name, aka title. Okay, so why I talk about this is because I've been picking up on a lot of love energy, right? And I remember that I did an upload earlier this year or later last year, and I was talking about my person, right? And I was saying, now granted, now I know who my person is, right? Like I know exactly who it is, right? Energy wise, but my person typically shows up either as the same person, you know, or a different person, but I recognize the energy. And in this one particular dream, he was trying to avoid me at all costs. Like he was trying so hard to avoid me, and we never even spoke a word besides hi, you know? But in that dream, I could feel like he was avoiding me because he didn't want the responsibility of living up to the title of being my divine masculine. Okay, knowing that you are divine feminine or divine masculine, it comes with a set of expectations. That's the title: divine feminine, divine masculine, chosen 144,000, light worker, bringer, bearer, star seed. All those things, they are titles that come with expectations. And although, yeah, we want to live up to those expectations, what typically happens is when we fall short of living up to the expectations of particular titles, We are down on ourselves. We get down on ourselves. We usually feel like failures. This is where stuff like this is where the limitations are imposed. Okay, I'm definitely getting that card. I may pull a couple to go along with this read. Let me see. Oops, sorry, y'all. We back. We are back. Okay, so limitations imposed, right? Limitations are only imposed when there is a title to things. So say like for me, for instance, okay, we're going to dive back into love. Even with love, a title comes along, because when we think of love, we think of all these things that you have to be in order to say that it's love. We think of all these things that are not acceptable. All these things, because of the title of love, there are certain rules, regulations, aka expectations. And when we fall short of what those expectations are, we feel like, oh, we're unlovable. It wasn't love. We feel like it wasn't that. It's not real. You understand? Titles equals expectations, and expectations equals letdowns and disappointments, right? And this is not to deter anyone or to... Hold on. Can y'all hear that? I really want y'all to hear that. So, this is not to deter anyone from the particular titles. It's about releasing or relinquishing from our minds, body, soul, spirits, the expectations of what titles mean, and just allowing things to be organic, right? Because also in my research, and this is going to be a little bit controversial, guys, but stick with me. In a lot of my readings, or research, not readings. Sometimes I have to take a breath, bro. This mouth moves faster than the brain, or the brain moves faster than the mouth most times. So, in my particular research, we have to know, it is vital and important for us to realize the difference between the Most High God, Source, and the God of this realm, okay? We think that God created all these things in this physical realm in which we exist, but that, on the contrary, when I've done my research, that's not true. It was actually Satan, okay? Because why would God create such beautiful things and then give Satan control over all of it in the physical? That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. But if Satan, of course, the governing principle that rules this particular physical realm or matrix, made this realm by going against the divine flow of the organic is, right? The is, both caps, right? When things just were. They were formless, without a name. Formless means no boundaries. Formless means no limits. Formless means no expectations, divine flow, things just are, right? And so Satan went to go against God's word, or went against God. And what he did when he went against God, or the divine flow, was he spoke a word, giving things a form. But with all forms, just like the body, there are boundaries, principles, and limitations to the organic flow of energy. Energy should just be. Energy should never have any bounds, right? Energy should never have any limitations. But when we speak names, words, things of that nature, we get a bit, that takes you a bit. This is why I study etymology and chemistry, things of that nature. But when we give things names, titles, words, right? Remember, we communicated telepathically at one point in time. Words were never necessary, because energy just was, and energy communicated with like energy and even opposite energy, and energy just understood that all energies were what they were, and that was it. But the moment that we put a title or a name on a particular anything, it gave it a form, a physical form, or it manifested the name of that thing into the matrix, which gave it a form, which gave it numbers, which gave it numbers. But all words are capped. all words are numbers, and numbers are capped, because on this physical plane, numbers stop at something when numbers are infinite, just like energy is infinite. So the moment that we spoke a word, we capped something off. We gave it limitations, we gave it boundaries, we gave it principles to abide by. And that we can think of that on a spiritual nature, on a soulful nature, on a physical nature, on a mental nature, everything, right? Even the word brain. Even the brain gives brain, the word brain gives the brain a form. And the brain is limited, right? We're not even operating at the full capacity of the brain. But the brain, it does not even contain an actual physical spot for the consciousness or subconscious, right? Or memory. Because the memory, the subconscious, and the conscious, they have no form because they are free-flowing energy. That's why the possibilities of the knowledge that these things have are infinite. And could you imagine if you put your consciousness or subconscious into a box? Could you imagine? It would limit your consciousness and your subconscious. It would limit your memory. It would limit the possibilities of what you can access, the knowledge that you can access, when the knowledge should be infinite, right? So when we say stuff like husband, wife, right? Everybody has these particular titles, what they should be, what they should not be, right? And typically, a lot of marriages I have found, they fail, because of finances, but they fail because, let's say for a husband, with the title of husband, you're supposed to be the breadwinner. You're supposed to be the man of the house, right? True. You're supposed to be the guard or the protector, the strength. You're supposed to be the backbone, or not even the backbone. Woman's considered the backbone, but you're supposed to not show any emotions. You're supposed to be you bring home the bacon. You have these particular set of rules that you have to follow and abide by. And whenever a masculine energy with the title of husband falls short of these things, he feels like what? Less of a man and or husband, right? So then he gets down on himself on the inside, and then he becomes limited in what he can do. He begins to stop trying. And this goes the same for wives, right? Wives, you're supposed to be this as a wife, that, blah, 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 as opposed to just letting things be. And this is why I say I don't particularly care about being in a marriage. It's more so of like a life partner thing. Let's just be a life partner. What's a life partner? Everything. And even with that, there's a title. But if we release expectations of the titles, then the possibilities are infinite, not just for ourselves, but for the people that we come into connections with. The title of being a friend. We think friends are supposed to be this, and that, and you're supposed to agree with me on everything. That's not true. A friend is supposed to challenge you. A friend is supposed to be your opposing force that helps bring certain awarenesses of particular areas in your life that you need to work on. They don't tell you what you want to hear. They tell you the truth, right? And so when we release, again, titles equals expectations, and expectations equals letdowns and disappointments, right? And so when we relinquish the principles and the boundaries, the limitations that are imposed on on all titles, I'm going to say all titles, we begin to be more free-spirited, and we begin to allow ourselves to just be an open book, but also the world to be an open book, for us to intermingle and mix with everything that there is in order to uplift ourselves, and in order to be above and beyond. Above and beyond. This is what that means. It's talking about above and beyond our principles, our titles, our expectations, our principles, our boundaries, our limits, okay? So I just wanted to say that as a quick little read. I don't think this one is going to be too long, but I definitely got that. Like limitations imposed, right? Limitations imposed. Limitations are only imposed by titles. By titles. And this doesn't mean that if you retain or have a certain title that you don't have to live up to those things. It's just that you don't have to stay stuck, bound to only those things. You can do something different. You can modify a title. Okay, modification. You can change it up. You can modernize it. You can make it something. You can make it whatever you want it to be. This is about relinquishing limitations of the title. Okay, the expectations of a title. Just let go of the expectations of what things should be, how things should be, who this person's supposed to be to you, who they're supposed to be. And you know what I found also, I wanted to touch on this real quick, is that the only title that most people don't even live up to, I'm not going to say most people, a lot of people, okay? Because that would be a limiting talk, right? But the one title that a lot of people don't typically live up to is themselves. They live up to, it's like people, we have lived up to every other single title: the mother, the daughter, the father, the chosen, the 144,000, the star seed, the indigo child, the healer, the shaman. We don't try to live up to all that stuff, but the only title that we have failed to even meet the expectations of is self. Confirmation. So, Jesus. I'm gonna wait this and come through hit this. Anyways, yeah, a lot of people have not lived up to the expectations, or not even that, just the title of self. Because when you, let's remove that. When you know yourself, you realize how much of an infinite being, infinite energy that you are. That means that now, husband, wife, that's it? No, I could be better than that. I know myself. Yeah, I could be a husband, but I could be better than that. I could be something greater than that. How about hero? Expectations, limitations imposed? No. I could live up to being a hero. I could be better than that. You see what I'm saying? Above and beyond the titles, the expectations, the limitations. This releases us from the letdowns and disappointments, right? Disappointment. That means being appointed to a title that you have to live up to the expectations of the rules that are imposed or governing that title, right? Yeah, and we have Nefti meditation, Ashe. Meditate on thy precepts also is what I'm getting with that. Your faith, we have the 12th house, your faith, hidden tendencies, large institutions, or overwhelming events. What would be the overwhelming event? The title. It's overwhelming to be the title. You know how overwhelming it is, and I'm going to be honest, right? Transparency over here. You know how overwhelming it is for me to hold the title of mother? But not just mother, because now I am missing the fathers aren't readily here or available to live up to their roles or expectations, right? So now I have to be the mother, the father, the breadwinner, the everything, right? You know how stressful that is? You know how frustrating it can be for me at times? So, with that being said, with that being said, when I let go, I found myself with the title of mother, trying to control everything. Limitations imposed again. Expectations. But the more I try to control things, the more I try to control the outcome of things, right? Being the mother, okay? The everything of the household, right? I found myself, whenever things did not go under my control, or they went array or I found myself let down and disappointed. Now relinquish the title of being mothers, relinquishing the name. Release and relinquish the name, the titles, the governing principles, the expectations. Therefore, relinquishing myself from being let down or disappointed, and instead I organically flow with the divine flow, with source, to just be infinitely what I could be. The possibilities are now endless, right? There are no letdowns and expectations. I don't have to live up to anything. Live up to means you're down, right? That means you're down somewhere, or something is exalted above you. Even the title. Now you have to live up to an expectation, but that expectation still has limitations. So not only are you down, right? You got to work your way up towards the expectations of the title. And once you get up there, it's limited. It's capped. It still caps you off on going above and beyond that expectation. That's a limit. We don't want limits, right? We want free-flowing things, right? And a lot of people are not going to understand that, because a lot of people don't see my point of view when it comes to that. But that was just something that I felt like I needed to tap into, right? Because so many people are finding are outside of themselves because they have found themselves not living up to the expectations of a title. Yeah, we got the North Node here, moral compass, but the North Node is also talking about no limitations being imposed. You just go where you are guided to, where your gut, where the divine guides your gut to go, right? With the North Node, this is our moral compass. This is our free-flowing compass of not the body, but the energy, the soul, the spirit, right? Where we should be heading towards, right? And you just go. That's why I be up on my feet, quick on my toes. I don't really have a set, like I have a set schedule, but if things don't go right within that set schedule, I don't get frustrated anymore. When before, I used to get frustrated because things didn't go as I could. But when I relinquished control, bro, the expectations became, they became, I just relinquish myself from expectations. We have the North Node. Have faith in. Do not worry about. Now is the time too. And this is another thing. We also create so much worry, so much chaos, right? This energy of these things when we have an expectation to live up to, right? And I know there are certain things where you just can't relinquish living up to a specific title. You have a job, you know, you have to do your job, you have a title at your job, then you have to do that particular title, that job that your title says that you have to do, right? Cool. But outside of that, and this is why working for myself has always been a goal of mine, and it has always been a necessity, because it allows the possibilities to be endless. I'm a big, like, I'm so like enthusiastic when it comes to the possibilities being endless. It's an understatement for me to even state that or try and explain it to y'all. It would be limiting, right? Because I don't have a true vocabulary. I just know what I feel inside my heart, right? And inside my heart, I can do anything. I can do anything. Removing limitations and expectations and titles. Limits imposed, right? And then we have the 10th house, responsibly, success, become a person of power and status. Becoming a person of power and status also, when we look at that, it means being the first to do something. That means going above and beyond limitations, expectations, right? Being a person of power and status. You have to be the first to do something sometimes. But remember, if you're the first to do anything in your family structure, in your job, the first to invent something, anything, that means that you have to go outside of the norm. You have to go against the grain. You have to go outside of the box. You have to think outside of the box. The boxes are the limitations, right? When circles ever expanding, boxes don't expand. Circles expand, right? And even with the circle, the moment that the name that God spoke the word, it created what we know as the Vesica Pisces. The Vesica Pisces, which is the starting point of limitations, because of the word that was spoken out of the mouth. The word gave the thing form, and once the thing had form, it had a title, okay? And that title is imposed, or is limited by the rules and regulations, the principles, the boundaries, okay? And then we have the sun, demonstrate, okay? We have the sun, demonstrate, realize, act like a leader, right? And even with the title leader, we think leaders are just this. No, step outside of what we think a leader is and be something bigger than that. Go above and beyond, but not to the point where you stagnate yourself, or to the point where you lose who you are. See, the principle, the underlying principle and basis of what I am saying is about knowing self. That's really the only title that I have found that most people fall short of even living up to the expectations of the title of self. Who people are. People don't know who they are. So then if you don't know who you are, you don't really know what your limits and what your limitations or what your infinite possibilities of yourself are. all you know is to live up to a title that still has boundaries, that still has limitations. When we know ourselves, truly, on a spiritual sense, on a physical sense, on a mental sense, on an intellectual sense, all those things. When we know ourselves, even if we are given a title, the expectations fall away, because we know not only we know ourselves, but we can meet those expectations, but we can go above and beyond what those expectations are. Okay? And then we have in the first house here. In the first house, immediately, the way you project yourself, do it on your own. Cannot make it up. With the that coming out with the meditation, and then we have segment energy. I'll show you to segment. And then we have Jupiter energy. Okay? Jupiter, learn or teach. Be positive about. Grow and expand. Grow and expand. How do we grow and expand? We release the expectations of the title. That doesn't mean relinquishing the title. That means relinquishing ourselves from the expectations of the title. So now, you're a husband, you're a wife. Yeah, I could be those things, whatever society says it should be. But how about we add this to it? As a husband and wife, we agree that this is what we can do outside of those things. We can go bigger and better and harder. It's like go hard or go home, right? Go hard or go home, above and beyond. So people say that the husband and wife or marriage should be like this. Let's do that, because that's cool. But let's add this and this and this and this and this and that to it. And man, when we accomplish those things together, right? Not only have we surpassed the limitations of just what a husband and wife or a marriage is, but now we done created a whole new dynamic, a whole new trend, set the tone for a whole new concept of what a marriage should be. And it don't have to be for everyone else. It could just be for myself, or it could just be for two people that are together that have an unspoken knowing, okay, about what is. What's understood don't need to be spoken. Anthony. Yeah, and then we have in the 11th house, for humanity's sake, your hopes and wishes, do it for the future. And for the future, what we want? We want to remove all these limitations of the expectations of the title. I hope, I pray I don't sound like I'm talking in circles, but yeah. And then we have Ma'at, truth and fairness. And there's Mars there at the bottom. And then we have Saturn, the maturity that brings cautions regarding to limits imposed. I was waiting on this one from the jump. I seen this card, the limits imposed. Limitations imposed by trying to live up to the expectations of the title. Okay, you can live up to the expectations of the title, but don't just stop there. Don't just think that's all there is. There's so much more than the all there is. Think, like I tell people, think big. Think everything that could be possible. Everything. What God is, what it couldn't be, or not even what it couldn't be. What you can be. Let's focus on self, right? Solar plexus energy, totally about self-confidence, right? Who we truly are. So let's focus on self, right? Self. Living up to the title of self means knowing oneself. How many people really truly know themselves? They don't. You know why? Because so much of our focus has been taken off of knowing ourselves, and because we're so busy working on living up to the expectations of the title of something else. You don't even have time. Most people don't even have make enough time to know themselves, because now you're trying to be a mother, you're trying to be a father, you're trying to be a husband. Those things are still limiting. There are expectations that come along with those titles. And you're trying so hard to live up to the expectations that you don't even realize you're not even living up to the true expectation of self. This allows limits to be imposed or capped on who you truly are and who you can truly be, which is an infinite fucking being. Destined for fucking greatness. So now, instead of me just being a mother, I could be an entrepreneur, I could be a boss, I could be a CEO, I could be a multi-million and billionaire, I could be a scientist, I could be a chemist, okay? I could be an Einstein for all people care. Okay? I could create. I can invent. And that's just not it. That's not just it. I can go above and beyond those things because I have relinquished myself from the expectations of the title. It doesn't mean to just drop everything off on a curb and put it in the trash and just fuck everything. It doesn't mean that. What it means is don't let the title be the only thing that you try to live up to. You know how long you're going to take spending your life trying to live up to the expectations of a titles that have rules, regulations imposed by society that are ever changing. The only thing constant is change. So now you're spending your whole life, not even with self, knowing self, you're trying to live up to the expectations of a title that is always changing. The title becomes different, where a husband and wife should be this, where a mother and a father should be this, right? And they add to and they take away from. So now, like, you know how much of your life you're going to waste away trying to live up to the expectations of a societal title as opposed to being an infinite being? I refuse. At this time, I denounce all rules, regulations, and principles that limit me. All names, all titles, all expectations that limit me as the infinite being that I am. Okay? Just let it be wild. Just run wild with it. And that's why a lot of people I give off like this hippie, free-spirited energy. It just is. It's just the way I am. The divine is like that. I could imagine that heaven is like that. I could only imagine that there are no limitations in heaven. It's so beautiful. One of the reasons why for me, opinion only, it seems like one of the reasons why heaven would be so beautiful and so lovely and so everything that you could ever dream of is because you aren't limited there. In the ethers, you're not limited. You're an energy. Relinquished from the physical form, aka the prison, which relinquish you from the title, the expectations of, limits imposed by the flesh. People be like, well, where are the superhumans? The superhumans are within us. They're just bound by the fleshly principles. Even the thought forms, the thought is a fleshly principle. Because we can't think bigger than what the limitations are imposed on us. Most people cannot think bigger than that. We think a superhuman or somebody with superpowers or magnificent abilities, it looks like this. That's a limit imposed. What if being superhuman means you being everything to the best of your ability by knowing self? And then going above and beyond that. Because once you know self, you truly start to realize that there are no limits to who you are and who you could be. You could be anything. So then when you come across people where, as before, you would come across people and they'd be like, oh, you can't do that. That's not possible. You're not the type of person. Just don't seem like the type. And that brings you down. That lets you down. That disappoints you from the infinite being that you are. Yeah, we have Kepi, Ashe to Kepi, which is change. It limits you. But now, when you know yourself truly, you know you're an infinite being of infinite possibilities. Now when you come across somebody and they say, you can't do that, you be in this energy of like, okay, watch me. You ain't even got to tell them watch me. You just be like, okay, just watch and see. And then you go above and beyond, not to prove to them, but to prove to yourself. Fuck what they talking about, but to prove to yourself. Because when we prove stuff to ourselves, everything else follows. Everybody gonna see that we are who the fuck we say we are. That we are who we knew we always were. Thank you, Divine, for helping me give out that message to the collective. I really like that. I like when I free write. I do like to do the tarot and stuff, right? That's cool. But I like to give out the free messages like that. I want to see everyone be the best that they can be and then do better. Serious. I don't think that the mind really puts limitations on what things are, what they could be. Bro, Satan should have never spoken that word. He went against God, or however you would like to say it, but God was a free-flowing, free of form energy. And then the moment that Satan spoke a word, the word was a spell that caused limitations, boundaries, principles imposed, limitations imposed, expectations. Right? I talk about the binary code all the time. There are commandments. The commandment is the word, okay? The commandment is the word. And with the commandment, there comes expectations or what is it, like subcodes that govern the expectation of that particular commandment, which is a number, which is a word, okay, which is a limitation imposed. Shoot, that's a lot. That is a lot. Man, in the second house, that's what came out at the bottom. Your beliefs, what you value, and your resources. And do you know how big your resources can get when you relinquish yourself from the expectations of titles? I'm just saying. For me, we have Aquarius energy here. Your vision, what's new and different about it? Use an unconventional way. The unconventional way is relinquishing the limitations or the expectations. It's nothing worse than a letdown or disappointment in something or someone, right? Why? Why are we let down from a person, place, or thing in the first place? Why? Because we gave them a title and we expected them to live up to the expectations of that title. Now relinquish that title from that person and from yourself. And just let them be. Just let yourself be. Now watch how things move for you, how things flow for you, how many possibilities come to you, how you get into alignment of an abundant plethora of possibilities. That's the true abundance. Being in alignment, okay? That's the true prosperity and abundance. Is being in alignment to all that there is, all there can be infinitely. We have Amun-Ra, Ashe, creation with Aquarius, and then we have Venus energy here, right? Cherish, enjoy, charm, art, and beauty are the way to. And this is why I'm a very creative person. I don't stop at what I can create. I can paint, I can draw, I can color, I can design clothes, I can sew clothes, I can create clothes, I can do hair, I can make wigs. Before wigs were popular, your girl was making wigs out in this house. I taught bitches how to, I'm sorry, that's not nice. That's not nice. Please relinquish me from that word. I can do all things. I create music on here, healing frequencies that help people not just with their chakra systems, but with your nervous system. But I also apply them to my life too. I'm not just making stuff and saying, here you go. No, I don't. I don't expect people to take my word. I always tell people, go do your own research. Don't follow anyone or anything. Go do your own research. And when people start venturing out and you do your own research and you don't follow the crowd, you're going to get to know yourself a lot better. And that's why I said people become shocked. When you really truly know yourself, people become shocked at how much you can accomplish, of how much they can achieve. It's like, I've never even dreamed that I could even do that. I never even thought that I could get somewhere like here, get someone like you, to obtain this, right? Accomplish this. And when you actually get there, you kind of shocked or taken back by yourself. Then you're like, damn, when you accomplish that, you're like, what else can I do? I didn't think I could do that, but I did it. I wonder what else I could do. Now you've expanded yourself beyond a title, beyond a limitation. We have Pluto energy here. Resurrect, get to the heart of, do or die. And then we have segment here again, justice. And the true justice is knowing yourself. And as I be telling people before, a lot of times we have a fighting force or a opposing force that fights us tooth and nail to not be the best of who we can be. Why? Because they lived up to the imposed limits of the expectations. They lived up to the limit of a title, right? People never ventured. Most people around us have never ventured out to go beyond what that title, the expectations of that title was. And most of the times, if they never went beyond that, is because they didn't live up or meet the expectations of whatever title that they were given. It doesn't matter your position in life. Whatever title that people are given, when you don't live up to the expectations of that, most people get down and out on their self and they settle. Ew. That's a pukey word for me. Settle. Settle. Who? Where? I don't see no settling over here. I know in the past life I had to be a nomad, bro. I had to be a nomad, an Irish traveler. Bro, because inside of me, I just have to see the world. I have to know that all there is, everything has to offer, all different cultures. I got to experience the food. I have to experience the religions. I have to experience it all. Because this just can't be it for me. This is not it for me. There's no way. Even if I get married, bro, we're not just going to be in a marriage. We going to fucking explore some shit in all areas. There's no way. That's when shit becomes tedious and becomes boring and it becomes like a job, right? Limitations imposed. Trying to live up to the expectations of a title. If people don't realize how unlimited we truly are inside, right? The unlimited amount of possibilities that we really truly are. We are made of the all. What is the all? Everything. What is everything? Think what you can think what everything could be, and then think above that. Now when you think above that, think above that. Now when you think above that, think above that. And go. Just go for it. Just fucking go for it. I had a lot of people around me who did not support me, who did not support me because it's just like, to them, they didn't think that I could make particular moves or be a particular something or even, so they never really supported me because, one, they didn't want to see me become something better than what they ever became. And for two, because they dared not reach for the stars. Reach for the stars? The stars are the limit. I'm going above that. What's beyond the stars? Let me find that out. Now I'm going towards whatever that is above the stars. Now, once I reach that, and I never along the way tell myself that I can't do it. Now, once I reach that above the stars, what else is there beyond that? Because we think the stars are the limit. The solar system, the galaxies, the universes, the multiverses, those are the limits. It's so much more beyond that. It's so much more beyond that we don't know. Most people they scared of what they don't know. For me, I want to know. I will dive head fucking first into what I don't know because I know I'm going to be okay. I know that as long as I go within divine flow and order and go under the Most High God, I know that I'm going to be protected. God didn't make the infinite of everything for us to not explore it and for us to not experience it. At least for me, he didn't. Nobody's going to put a cap on me. A cap? Limits? That's gross. It's gross. So, I'm just saying. We had segment here, Ashe, justice. And then we have in the 7th house, balance, cooperation, and your partners. So, also with that, I don't even know if I want to really touch on that. Like, with partnerships, let's say marriages, right? Cool. I think marriage is an ugly word. I'm sorry. I think that's an ugly word. Because so many people think this is what a marriage is supposed to be like. I'd be like, man, a marriage can be whatever the fuck. A marriage can be whatever you two people agree that it is. And then go beyond that. And then experience everything that it is and that it has to offer. And then go beyond that. So we're going to get a couple more and then I'm going to close this one out. Today is Wednesday, y'all. So we are going to do Uno and we're going to do Wild Card Wednesday too. So if y'all just tuning in, tapping in, make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button as y'all come in. There's 2 people in here watching, but only 2, but 2 likes. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. Anyways, we're going to do Wild Card Wednesday. And this is the first time that I'm doing that, right? Bro, look, anything can come out on Wild Card Wednesday. At the bottom, we got 21 questions. So we don't know what subject can come out. It's all kinds of stuff in here. All kinds. And whatever comes out, we are going to touch on it. Right? Especially the uncomfortable things. I love to make people uncomfortable. But it teaches you to relinquish yourself from expectations, from limitations as well. That's what I do. That's why I did that one reading where I found that article on the Heyoka empath. Very unconventional. It's also known as the, what do they call it? The crazy clown. But not in that sense. It's making light of things that are uncomfortable in order to get people used to the uncomfortable things. And it kind of just sets the excuse me. It kind of just sets the groundwork for people to be at least a little bit comfortable enough to go towards a direction that they never have or that they never imagined that they could go. And that could be anything. And it's cool. We don't do that with everything. We do it so long as we know that we're operating with good intentions, that we're operating from the heart space, that we're operating to not harm or hurt anyone else, but only to be ourselves and, you know, have a positive impact on whomever it is that we come across, right? Freaking A. Yeah, we have shoe, order and peace. But I want to try to pay attention. Because above shoe is newt. The fixed in foundation. The limit imposed. They say the sky is the limit. What is above that? What's above this? This is the sky. This is the neter. A neter is an Egyptian principle. They consider them deities. The sky is not the limit. There is something above the sky. There's actually something that created the sky. For me, let me go and see what it is that created the sky. Now I have met that. What is beyond that? What else did this force create? Did this energy create? What else is there? Is it Newt or is it Geb? Geb, I'm sorry. No, because Geb would be the fixed in earth principle. The ground beneath us, right? Though that's necessary. Grounding is necessary. It's a limit. It's a boundary. It keeps us up or afloat, right? But the only place we should ever be going is up. Draw these cards. Okay. And we have the South Node. There will not be anxiety about or trouble. About what? Union and power. Sobek energy. Ashe. Worrying about things causes limitations. What you worried about? Not living up to the expectation of something. What you worried about? The other person not living up to the expectation of something. now you have just imposed so many limitations on yourself, on your possibilities of what something could be, holding yourself back from the beauty of whatever it is that could be. It could be a person, place, or thing. Okay? It could be yourself. Yeah, because you are protected. And going forward, Mehin energy. Ashe to Mehin. And then we have Kansu, Hermitage, which is the hermit. So we gonna leave that there, collective. And I'm glad that y'all can stick around and hear your girl out. And I pray that what I say, that it makes you think, that you think about it. I pray it makes you think. I'm gonna go put on this weighted vest, guys, and then, you know, it's raining outside, so I'll probably just walk around the house with my weighted vest on and stuff, fold some clothes. That's what I'm gonna do. There's just the limits imposed to what I'm gonna do for now. Ain't no telling what else I'm gonna do later on. It could be anything, right? And we have Amon-Ra, creation, and we have the power of love, investment, gambles, and other gains. Because also, not when we relinquish ourselves from expectations, everything is going to be a gamble anyways. Everything is 50-50, but we also have your creations. A lot of things, this is a lot of creation energy. But to create something, that means that you have to have a ground basis to create things. We have to have a ground basis, but what we create can be the first of its kind when we relinquish titles and expectations thereof. Okay? I pray that this helps somebody. I release all the energies that I called upon with love and light. I thank y'all very much for helping your girl. And I release y'all collective with love and light as well. Remember, as I like to say, do not let this world define you with the titles and the expectations. Define yourself like I define me, because I am your girl, Shay, aka Me by V, another business name, aka the Dual Alchemist, an infinite, multi-dimensional being of infinite possibilities. And y'all have a great day. I will see y'all later. Bye.